The anatomy of a crime. What do we know about the missile attacks by the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps of Iran that led to the downing of Ukrainian flight PS-752 on January 8, 2020? Was the Iranian airspace intentionally left open on January 8th by the Iranian government at a time of heightened military conflict? Was flight PS-752 authorized to take off by the Iranian aviation authorities a few hours after Iranian government rocket attacks on U.S. bases in Iraq? Is the Iranian government in possession of an integrated air defense system? Yes. In fact, the Iranian government has two parallel militaries with separate air defense systems. A mobile Tor M1 unit was dispatched to a strategic location near the Tehran International Airport before midnight of January 7th. Was this unit part of a network of integrated air defense systems under the command of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps? The Russian-made Tor M1 ground-to-air missile system receives orders from a battery commander, who takes orders from the battalion command post under the central command of the operations center that is integrated into the IRGC National Defense System. All of them have radar systems that could see flight PS-752 upon takeoff on the morning of January 8, 2020. Is the Tor M1 missile system capable of precisely detecting an incoming cruise missile? Can the Tor M1 radar screen distinguish a 20-foot-long cruise missile from a 130-foot-long Boeing 737-800? Does the Tor M1 missile system have multiple channels of communication with the command center? Could the Tor M1 missile unit detect flight PS-752 on its radar screens upon takeoff? The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps claims that there was a 107-degree error in calibrating the Tor M1 missile that shot down flight PS-752. Can anyone, even a civilian, find north and south in a city like Tehran? The Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps commander said that a warning was issued for incoming American cruise missiles. Could a hostile missile attack go undetected by a sophisticated integrated air defense system until it reached Tehran? Absolutely not. The closest point of penetration into Iranian airspace from Tehran is 760 kilometers. At 1:20 on the morning of January 8th, the Iranian government launched rocket attacks on American bases in Iraq. Between midnight and 6:30 a.m., at least 8 other civilian flights took off from the Tehran International Airport. Did this so-called miscalibrated Tor M1 unit recognize all 8 civilian flights as incoming cruise missiles? No. Only Ukrainian flight PS-752 was identified as a 20-foot cruise missile traveling in the opposite direction towards the airport. The Iranian military officials claim that they warned all air defense units of incoming cruise missile attacks on Tehran. Were there any cruise missile attacks on Iranian territory on the morning of January 8th? Did any of the bases from the integrated air defense units identify incoming cruise missiles? No. But the Iranian government claims that suddenly a cruise missile appeared out of nowhere less than 20 miles from the Tehran International Airport. Had all outgoing flights from Tehran International Airport been routed along conventional paths to their destination? No. The Turkish Atlas Global Airlines flight took off at 5:17 a.m. and was routed along an unconventional path. At 6:12 a.m. on January 8, 2020, the mobile Tor M1 unit is claimed to have misidentified flight PS-752 as an incoming cruise missile from the opposite direction of the actual flight path. Is it possible for a sophisticated missile unit and trained operators to make such a mistake? Even if such a misidentification was possible, did the launcher and battery commander seek authorization from the operations center to engage the perceived threat? The Iranian government claims no. According to the Iranian government, The first missile was fired towards a civilian aircraft 3 minutes after takeoff from an airport less than 10 miles away from the mobile Tor M1 unit without any authorization from the Central Command. The Tor M1 unit is capable of firing a missile every 5 seconds. But the unit commander fired a second missile within 30 seconds after the first missile was fired. Was the Tor M1 unit on automatic engagement setting? No. The second missile must have been fired manually. PS-752 crashed to the ground within 6 minutes after takeoff at 6:18 a.m. Within a few minutes after that, looters, vandals, intelligence and security officials alike swarmed the site and rummaged through mutilated bodies and burning debris. Did the Iranian government officials make best efforts to secure the site? There is ample video evidence to prove this inhumane and technical negligence. Was the crash site preserved for international investigators to study the crash? No. The site was cleared by bulldozers within 5 hours of the crash. Were the victims' belongings looted in the aftermath of the crash? Were 82 pieces of intact luggage and many other personal belongings of the victims that were in the possession of the Iranian government officials vandalized? Did the Iranian government officials and their operatives deny any missile attacks for 72 hours despite knowing the truth? Was the Iranian government obligated by international regulations to deliver the black boxes immediately upon their recovery? Yes, but it took them 7 months to deliver the black boxes. Has the Iranian government engaged in systematic harassment, persecution, and oppression of the victims' families? Yes, repeatedly. Has the Iranian government arrested and imprisoned those who protested against the missile attacks on a civilian airliner? Has the Iranian government persecuted, arrested, and imprisoned those who had recorded the missile attacks? And is this the first time in recent history when a civilian flight was shot down by domestic military forces of a country? Has the Iranian government acted transparently and in good faith? Can the victims' families, can anyone trust the Iranian government to investigate this crime? Is the only way to discover the truth an independent, impartial, international investigation? Does international law require that all parties to civil aviation incident investigations must be independent? Is the Iranian Civil Aviation Agency an independent body? Is the Iranian Civil Aviation Agency qualified to investigate an incident caused by the Iranian Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps? Is compensation a first priority for the victims' families? No, not without full investigations and prosecution of all those behind the murder of 176 innocent civilians. To this date, have there been any witnesses among the Iranian government officials who know the truth with the courage to come forward and testify? The Iranian government's narrative is based on human error. What do you think?